What's the biggest lie that people believe about RV freedom? It looks awesome. It looks epic. It looks peaceful and quiet and simple. But the truth is, it's a lot more complicated than people let on in a lot of these YouTube videos that you see. I watched somebody's YouTube video this morning, and her RV was immaculate, perfectly clean. It was all decked out. She got like her whole family living in there. But then you realize, oh, they're in a trailer park. So while it looks awesome and you think like, wow, it's so free and you can do anything you want, you're in an RV park. So now you're tied down in one spot. Your neighbors are going to be right next to you. You're going to have to follow all their rules. And it's true, like you're going to have a cleaner unit. You're going to have endless water, endless electricity, so you can plug in whatever you want. You can clean as much as you want, inside the rig. So her RV looked super, super nice and fancy. I mean, it looked like a really like kind of like a high class apartment, like some New York studio apartment or something like that. But the reality is, if you want freedom, you're going to be coming out to places like this and you're going to be dealing with, what some people would call filth. It's really just dust and dirt. And for me, I mean, I've adapted to it. I'll explain my haircut in a second. That has to do with sort of your lack of freedom. You're dealing with freedom in a different way, and your comforts are going to be limited. You're going to have to start putting up with things that maybe you're not used to. You can see here how dusty and dirty it is. I mean, I haven't swept this thing. I have a little tiny hand broom, but that's all I've got. And here comes a wasp. So you're dealing with different things. And don't get me wrong, like this is the freest I've ever felt. I freaking love it. But I think people misunderstand sort of how the freedom, how you're going to be interacting with freedom. It's dusty, it's dirty, and there's no point in cleaning this mat or even cleaning inside the trailer because it's just going to get dusty and nasty all over again, as long as we stay here. Like right now, the wind's coming up. It's making me kind of breathe in some of the dust. And you just put up with those things. And people think that, oh, it's going to be like this perfectly epic, clean lifestyle. And it is sometimes, but for the most part, if you're living in places like this where you want as much freedom as you can get, you're going to be dealing with the elements. So I was cutting my hair last night, and you can see I did the sides. And I was out like at the back of the trailer with a little mirror, and I plugged in my razor into my battery here. And so I'm shaving the sides, and then I realize, oh, I'm starting to get bit by bugs. And so as soon as the bugs start biting you, it's like, oh crap, I'm not going to stay out here and get eaten by bugs. So you stop doing your haircut. So I didn't even do the top. So now I have a real nomad haircut. Think about things like water usage. Where, for example, this lady, where she was staying with her family, they're in an RV park, so they're hooked up to water full time. So you can run showers as much as you want, and then you're also hooked up to the sewer, so you don't have to worry about dumping your tanks because all your gray water will go right out into the sewer immediately. So you can run as much water as you want. You can have as much hot water as you want. Here, I just fill up right here. See, there's a city water connection, so you can hook up to a spigot if you got a spigot. But out here in the middle of the woods, there's no water at all. So I have to haul in my water, and then I fill it up, 6 gallons at a time, basically, out here. So I'm conserving water, so there's no long showers. I took a shower last night, and I realized, you know what? I can be in the shower as long as I want, but I just can't run the water. So I take showers that are like 2 gallons, maybe 3 gallons if I'm lucky, but sometimes I'll even just do a 1-gallon shower, which is basically, just a rinse off. And really all it is you're giving up certain things. You're giving up comforts that you're kind of used to start to gain different types of freedom. But it is limiting. You're limited on water, how often you can wash your clothes, getting fuel. You're going to need fuel. So you got to manage all these systems. So in a sense, you are kind of losing some of your freedoms that you might be used to. Now you are gaining other freedoms. In a place like this, there's no noise. It's dead quiet at night. It's dead quiet. There's nobody out here bothering me. There are like basic rules for being in, the national forest or public BLM land. No one's going to complain if I want to plug in my guitar and play my guitar out here all night, as long as there's nobody around me, and there's not in this case. No one's going to care if I want to like walk around naked. No one cares what I do here. If I want to have a motorcycle, or if I want to if you want to shoot guns or go hunting, if you got permits and stuff like that. When you're watching these videos on YouTube and you see someone's rig and it looks fabulous, they got like granite countertops, they got carpet. That's just laughable to me, like these rigs that have carpet in them. I mean, you can't have carpet when you're doing this kind of lifestyle. It's unnecessary, and it's going to trap everything. You're going to get bugs in there. You're going to get pine needles and like sticks and rocks and stuff like that, depending on what kind of terrain you're camped in. But you watch these people living in these rigs, and the people, they look clean. Their rigs are clean. Their counters are all clean. They got all their stuff put away. It seems like big and open. She's got like this patio on the back with this screen. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that looks really nice. But in a place like this, you'd have to close that thing up because it's going to just let dust inside your whole rig. The good thing is you can focus on the things that are truly important to you in this lifestyle. If you feel like you need to take showers all the time, then you can start carrying more water. You might have extra propane tanks. You might decide that the normal amount of propane is not enough because you want to have hot water on all the time. If that's important to you, then you can control that by, getting more propane tanks. Now, I'm not saying that those channels are lying, but I think it's pretty unrealistic. They're selling something. They're selling the epic beauty, and they're selling the idea that it's absolute freedom. All the worries that you have living in your city or in your town are gone all of a sudden because you have this immaculate, like brand new rig, and they make you feel like, oh, now you can go see all the sights you want. You can do whatever you want. And you can, but a lot of the channels are not showing the reality of what you're really going to have to do to accomplish that. It's an adventure, but it's full of things that you're going to have to learn, and also things that you're going to have to learn to put up with. And you're going to be kind of negotiating with yourself, and if you're traveling with somebody else, you're going to be negotiating with them on what comforts you're willing to give up or exchange for doing it sort of a different way. You're definitely not going to be like washing your clothes all the time. That's just insane. You're not going to be able to take all, like I was saying, the long showers. You're going to be concerned about where you're staying. If you have pets, they bring in all kinds of nasty stuff. For some reason, my dogs, they don't bring in insects, which I'm really grateful for. I thought that would be a major problem. But they bring in all kinds of dirt. They got twigs and stuff stuck to them. They get sap in their paws. And in this kind of campsite, it's basically a dust bed out here that they roll around in. if I'm lucky, they only get it in their paws, but they get it all over their fur, and then they go up in the bed, they go on the couch, and then they shake it off inside the rig, and then it gets everywhere. It gets on all the counters, the cupboards. So then you're doing more and more cleaning. So don't be fooled by those epic, super clean rigs that you see online. That's not really going to be the reality if you want maximum freedom. And that means camping in the wilderness where it is dirty and you are subject to the weather.